I just thought about like maybe they're probably questioning God, like, Lord, why are you letting this stuff happen? Like all this madness that's going on in our life right now, why is it happening? And with emotions being so high though, it's like, yeah, it's a simple question, but sometimes our emotions get the better of us, and then we are like yelling, upset, question like, God, why are you letting this happen to me? Why did you let my friend get corona? Why did you allow me to lose my job? Why did you let someone break into my car? Why did you insert wherever incident you could think of? People are wondering why, especially if you're like been faithful all this time and you've just been having like a bad year, which let's face it, we all had a bad year so far. But it's like your question, like, why is this year happened to me like this? Like 2020 was supposed to be my year. I was supposed to be able to excel in something. I shouldn't be having to dial back and be like, man, I hope I have enough money for tomorrow to do this. Oh, I hope our electricity doesn't get shut off. It's like a lot of people are living hard times right now. And so a lot of people are questioning things. So I talked a lot for a second, so I'm gonna pass on to you real quick, Jordan.
Oh no, you're good, man. I was ready for you to keep going. Um, I do want to just piggyback off of that. I want to say that a lot of us had hard years. I don't want to say bad. That's something I try to do because, and I've said this on the podcast before. This is still the year that God made. You know what I mean? So keeping that in mind, He doesn't make things that are bad. You know what I'm saying? He makes things that are trying. He makes things that are tough. He'll test you. He'll push you to be the best you that you can be. But I don't want to say bad. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Um, I want to say hard because even for me, getting married and being able to move out, everything that has happened this year has been tough. You know what I mean? Um, my wife, my now wife, then when this happened, she was my girlfriend, but she lost her job. You know what I mean? Due to COVID, and everything. Uh, late last year, early this year, she got into a car accident. Like just a whole bunch of stuff has happened, and I feel like
mm-hmm,
it's a collective hard year, tough year, trying year, right? And just getting back to the topic, right? That causes us to question God. That causes us to look at Him a little differently at times, especially depending on how hard you have been hit. And our thoughts and prayers go out to those who have lost people due to COVID, lost jobs.
mm-hmm,
Um, but something that I don't want us to ever do is to blame God. You know what I mean? Questioning God and blaming God are two entirely different things.
mm-hmm.
When we blame God, that means we take no responsibility. That means we don't see a bright side. We're blaming somebody for the negativity that's happened. Questioning God, asking Him questions like, why is this happening? Is, I think it's more common. Um, and with that being said, we all try to go to scriptures here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we see, and we've talked about this a lot as well. Jesus, when He was going to be crucified, and Jesus knew that He needed to die for our sins. He knew that He came down here for that being His ultimate goal, right? But when the time came, and we see this again, this is Matthew chapter 27, verse 46. Um, we see that He questioned God. And just reading it real quick, and actually, I would go, if you want just a little bit more backstory, at least from the standpoint in Matthew. I would actually go starting. Uh, you can actually. This is when He's actually on the cross. Excuse me. Um, if you go to Matthew 26 or 25, actually, that's when you see Him praying. But yeah, if you go to Matthew 27:46, this is Him on the cross, right? Going through pain, going through agony, having the full weight of sin on Him at that
Mm-hmm.
moment in time. 46 reads, and about 3 in the afternoon, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, Eli, Eli. I'm not even sure he said, Lema. Oof, I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, good
I don't know
luck.
how to pronounce it. But and then in parentheses it says, which means, my God, why have you forsaken me? And this is the NIV version. I believe the King James says, my Father, or Father. So the point is that He's on the cross. He knows what He's going through. He's going through it right now, and you're going through it. But He still said, "Why have you forsaken me?" Knowing that God's still with Him, right? But in that moment of pain and agony, you're like, what in the world is going on right now? And a lot of people think it's a sin to question God. That's not the case. You can't be blaming God for what's going on, because if you're blaming God, that means you don't have faith in God to know that what you're going through will pass. But when you're questioning him, you're wondering, why is this happening to me? I don't understand. And to keep it a little bit on the shorter side, when we question God, we need to remember at the end of the day, he's going to be there for us. When you're questioning God, you need to remember that this is trash, bro. Like, this sucks. However, my God's never going to put too much on me. And even then, again, 46, that was the end of his sentence. That was literally the end of his sentence. So it's not like he snapped right back into it and said, I'm good. He's going through pain. He's literally dying on the cross right now. So it's not something you just snap back into. I don't want you to ever think that. But we know that Jesus knew that God had him. And let me see. I think he actually does say something. I just want to see real quick. In Matthew, it does not show him saying anything else. But yeah, that's the main point that I'm trying to make, is that when we question God, it's okay to be fearful, to be going through it, but you got to make sure that at the end of the day, he's never going to leave you.
No, that's awesome though, bro. Like, there was one thing you said that actually caught my attention though, was just saying, like, it's not a sin to question God, because I think a lot of people think it is, like, they shouldn't question God. But like you said, there's nothing wrong with that though. It's like, I see as when you're questioning God, that's showing that your way that not only are you showing like your faith overall, because you're like, no, I believe what God's doing for me though. Like, I want to know the answer. Like, I'm want to talk to him. Like, I mean, literally us praying, that's a way of showing our faith though, like, just overall right there. So when you're questioning, like, no, you're trying to have a conversation with God. You're trying to reach out, like, Lord, like, what's going on? And like, I think the beauty of it though is just a lot of times we have to learn to just kind of like slow down and really just kind of let things pass, but then also continue to talk to God through the whole ordeals that we're going through, a lot of the struggles we're going through.